Welcome back to Next Stage Podcast, everyone. We got Chris Daly in the studio today. He's been here before. Not here exactly. We're in a new studio. He was in the previous studio, but a returning guest, and always happy to have you.
Hell yeah.
And, you know, very glad that you made the trip up here to be on. And so what's been going on with you, man? Like, what's up? How's the whole situation been treating you with the whole, you know, lockdown and music being changed and all that stuff as far as performing and everything?
Kind of happy. The situation obviously sucks.
Yeah.
People getting fucking deathly ill, and
yeah,
that of course really sucks. I'm fortunate enough to have not gotten sick, and I can kind of just stay home and practice and write, and from a musical perspective, it's nice because
yeah, just make sure you're kind of like talking into
Sure, hello, yes, hello. I think this happened last time too. You're like, yeah, come a little closer.
All right. Well, we just want to make sure we're picking up. So you're saying you're predictable?
Yeah, so we'll see. Ooh. I think I did that last time.
Now you got to be unpredictable to make up for it.
Oh,
so you've been like practicing a lot, like writing. Is it helped like having time to write?
I stopped writing for like a year. Like I was doing like little things here and there, and but nothing really like stuck to where I was like, okay, this is like a step forward, like a new record or a new project or whatever. So I kind of just took a lot of time to like dedicate myself to like my guitar lessons and like kind of learning about how to play the guitar and more like theory and technique and shit like that. Just trying to like learn more about the guitar, and it felt kind of like pointless sometimes because it's like, well, I'm not even writing songs. Like, what am I learning all this stuff for? And then as things tend to go, like they naturally just kind of, tides turn and you go into like a different space. Like right then I was just practicing, learning all this stuff. And then eventually it was like, oh, I got an idea to write. I'm going to write more. I wrote this song. I wrote another one. And then it kind of became less about, now I'm not practicing much at all. And now I have like 6 new songs written that we have planned for a new project. And, I got my drummer Connor, who is always playing with me at all the shows that we play. My guitarist Chris, who's also helping and writing parts. And we also got my friend Zach Omuler, who is a phenomenal producer, beat maker. He's mainly like a hip hop guy, but he just has an ear for music and an ear for like editing and production and stuff. So we brought him on to kind of like help direct a lot of the stuff. We'll be sitting there practicing and he's kind of like, all right, do that part again. Can you try playing this rhythm instead? And he's just kind of like
listening to your practices.
Yeah.
Like a kind of Rick Rubin style, like sit there and absorb it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like he's kind of, he's coming to rehearsals. We rehearse without him too, but when he's over there, we're playing the songs and he's like really soaking it in and trying to get like the vibe of the song. How can this be produced? How can you play it differently to get like a better effect in this section? How, stuff like that. So he's been extremely helpful, and we've made a lot of progress just in the past like couple weeks having him around doing that, because just having like an outside ear who's like a more objective, who's not in the band, it helps a lot. So
how is that to deal with if you're kind of bringing new songs in? Are they fully formed, or maybe they're still in progress, and having somebody else say something? Did it take a while to like kind of put your like ego thing aside, or had you already been like cool with having outside influence comment on your work in progress?
I mean, I don't really write with other people. Like, I don't sit down with other people and say, like, all right, we're going to write a song, because I've never done that. And to me, it feels a little bit weird, because I think songwriting is like a really personal, private thing that I like to do when I'm in my room late at night, or whenever. One of the songs that I wrote that I think I'm going to play later on here is like, I wrote it in my car at like in like the parking lot of a pizza place. And I was like, oh, this is actually pretty good. So then I sat there for half an hour and I kept working it out. That was like a month ago. And now we played it with the band. We got parts. Zach gave us his input, what Connor should do with the drums at certain parts. So, I mean, I always have like kind of an ego when it comes to that because it's like, it's my song. Like, I want it to be the way that I want it. But then if somebody has a good idea, then they have a good idea. And I'm not going to be like, no, like, fuck you. I don't want that in the song. It's like, if it makes the song better, then I want that to be in there. And I've worked with Zach for years, since I was 15. So I've known him for a long time, for like, what is that? Like 8 years now. We made music together for like 5 years. So we kind of know how to work with one another, and he's yielding in a lot of ways and to like what I want, but he's also he knows what he's talking about. So if he thinks like, yeah, you shouldn't do that, you know, he's going to voice that and tell me why. And
you trust him in that way.
Very much so. Yeah.
So when you were doing your hip hop stuff, was he part of that?
Yeah, he was like, sometimes it was like 60-40 him. Sometimes it was like 50-50. Yeah. Sometimes I did a little bit more of the production at the beginning. Then he really like fine-tuned it into just an amazing musical backdrop. And then the way that he would integrate my vocals and the lyrics into the whole song. Yeah, it was like a band of two people making electronically produced music. So now the instrumentation's different. There's more people involved, you know, playing different instruments and stuff. But yeah, but his input is definitely super, super helpful.
So you guys already had like an established working relationship. You had made like some hip hop stuff together. You were used to that kind of push-pull, give and take. You would trust them. And now when you're bringing other musicians in to that mix, like, how is that dynamic? Is it like harder to bring more people in, or is it easier because you have more to spread that out with?
Like, I think it's just kind of necessary. It's not like that. It's like these songs require different stuff. Like with the hip hop stuff, it was like I did the vocals. I like kind of was like a creative director in some ways. I think this should hit here. That should hit here. Then Zach was the instrumentalist guy. He did that stuff. That was kind of his role. And now it's a little bit different. I have ideas for how I want the drums to sound. I have ideas for how I want the lead guitar to sound, but you know, Chris is the lead guitarist, Connor's the drummer, and they know more about that stuff than I do. So it's like they can kind of take the reins there and make a really good part. And it's just kind of like people with more expertise than me in certain areas, me kind of being like, I need your help. These are my ideas. I'm gonna tell you if I think an idea is right for the song or wrong for the song, but they know what they're doing. And
so like they're masters of their piece that they're bringing, and you know that and respect that. So you kind of know, okay, I might give input, but I can step back when I know like I'm having you a part of this for a reason.
Exactly.
So you trust their instincts just as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's like trusting their instincts, and also they're just really, really great friends of mine. So it's like awesome to have them around, and it just creates like a really fun environment because they're just my friends, and we're making these songs, and it's fun to do. But yeah, they know what they're doing, so I'll kind of like give them some notes or some shit and be like, all right, well, this is kind of how I want it to sound. I think it should have this effect. Can you do something like this? Or they'll just come up with something and it just fucking works.
Yeah.
Or they come up with something and I'm like, can you tweak it a little bit? Or they'll tell me, they're like, yeah, I think we need another section here. Or I think that you should play it like this. And I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll try that. You know what I mean? We're all just kind of giving each other notes and kind of realizing that like, I mean, they say all the time, like, you wrote the song, so, you know, we understand that you have, like, a certain way that you want them to sound, but they are our songs. We're all working on them. We're all putting our effort and our heart and our minds into it, so.
Well, it's important that they recognize that it's your, you know, performance, your art, whatever, putting it forward, but also great that there's that, like, collaborative sense, because if the people involved in the project aren't, like, jazzed about being able to do their part, they're going to get kind of salty. It happens, you know, if it's too directive, you know.
Well, that's like what I'm so blessed to have too, is just like I always say this, like they fuck with the vision. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like the motto. It's like, dude, I'm so glad that you fuck with the vision. we don't say it like, we say it like kind of jokingly.
It's a way to keep your ego in check. Be like, okay, I got my ideas, but you can comment on it. I'm not gonna freak out.
Yeah, it's not them like you're fucking with my. It's like you're down with the vision. You know what I mean? We're down to achieve a common goal, and we're all jazzed about this. We all get to.
But fucking with can be a good thing.
You know? Yeah, that's true too.
So let's fuck this up a little bit.
Yeah,
he's like, let's make it like a little raunchy or crazy or different.
And that's kind of like with Zach that I think he's going to kind of bring is because he has just so much electronic background. I can kind of think in that way too of like, okay, maybe like in one of the songs there's like a like an 808 bass, kind of like a more archetypical like hip hop type of rhythm section.
Yeah.
And because I have him there, it's like, okay, I can fuck with it in that way, you know what I mean? Where otherwise I would have planned to just be like ding 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 and just play like some acoustic
You're doing
guitar
Mr. Sandman right there.
Ding 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 ding.
But that's cool about having different influences because then it's going to drive the music into a more interesting place.
Yeah.
And I personally think with you know, I don't know what you consider your music, but I think you're somewhat in the rock vein, I would say, in some way. I don't know, maybe not, but traditional kind of a band thing.
Yeah.
Being, you know, adaptive to new things that have happened in music since the 50s and 60s is extremely important.
Definitely.
Kind of what's hurting the genre is that people haven't been.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's what like I listened to the Billy. Oh shit, sorry. I listened to the. No.
We got to get a better table. That's on our list of things to upgrade, like a real solid table that won't move.
Hell yeah. But I listened to the Billie Eilish record, and there's a song Zanny on there. It's dope. It's like it has like a very kind of McCartney Beatles kind of flavor to parts of the chord progression, but it's just like very like, you know, electronic drums, very like modern pop production, and that kind of made me like, yeah, well, see, like I didn't really play a whole lot of guitar like until like 4 years ago, and up till now I've just been trying to like learn how to play the thing and write songs on it and learn how to use it as like a songwriting tool. And now it's like I want to use it as a tool to like write more interesting chord progressions and more interesting song structures, but it's like I don't have to disregard the hip hop or the pop shit that I know, you know, and that's popular now. It's like I can use that and mesh them. But for a while it was like I was just trying to like learn how to use the guitar and use the guitar in a way that you would commonly use the guitar.
Right.
But now it's like I can kind of use it as a tool in a different way, and because Zach's here and all that shit, hopefully it's gonna lead to something that isn't. But yeah, like you said, like people kind of disregard. They kind of stick in like the 70s, you know what I mean? There's a lot of like I think I've been listening to a lot of like interviews from Jonathan Rado, I think his name is, from Foxygen. They're like an indie band.
I like that band a lot, man.
Yeah.
They're really cool stuff, and a lot of things in there remind me of like some early Stones and stuff, like some of the maybe his vocal stylings in ways and the arrangements. But that's one of the bands that I really dig.
Yeah.
All the way through, and they had a very bizarre, interesting beginning too.
Yeah, what was that? It was like just like the material that they did? Like
yeah, it was like two friends just kind of like messing around in college from what I understood it as. And if you listen to like their early stuff, and maybe they're even considered demos, some of it, it's like, you know, very experimental. Maybe a little bit into the vein of the Ariel Pink stuff that you've hit me to.
Yeah. I love that type of shit. Like where it's kind of home demo-y shit, kind of intimately made by like just like a close-knit group of people type of thing.
But that song Sugar, I absolutely love.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful song.
That one? Like,
yeah,
that's dope.
Saw your daughter the other day. That was weird. You know, that whole thing. I love that song, you know, and they have cool things in there. But you're right. They have a different, they're kind of pulling from the past, but also getting some of the future stuff in. And it sounds like you went through that progression with coming from more originally hip hop and then learning the guitar, and then you were wanting to go into the roots of the guitar instrument, and now you're at the point where you can bring those worlds together, which I think is intelligent for the future of that kind of music, is bringing things together, bringing diversity in.
Because it's like, well, something that I was going to say about Foxygen is like I think a lot of their stuff is kind of pastiche shit that they're kind of emulating from the past, like they emulate like a 60s or 70s sound, and I don't have a very like the most solid grasp of Foxygen's like catalog, but it seems like they do a lot of stuff that is gravitated towards the old stuff, and I wish that they did more new stuff, I guess. Like it seems like they have a very deep respect for like the 60s 70s stuff, and they know the gear, they know like how to make that music, like all the music from back then, and they they
a little
want
too
to emulate that
imitative.
stuff.
You mean
Yeah.
derivative?
Yeah, I wish that they kind of went a little bit more like new with it, I suppose. Like,
But that was so interesting to me about your demo, which I'm eyeballing. You've got a copy here.
oh yeah,
Is that there were certain aspects of it that harken back to like the crooner days.
yeah,
You know, like you put certain songs across in that way that almost remind me of, I don't want to say like maybe like a Dean Martin kind of thing or whatever, or Sinatra. Like this, there's some echoings of that in some of these songs, but there's also a lot of new, fresh ideas that it's like this really expansive like collision to me of a lot of different worlds. You know, you've got that like interesting sort of comedic chocolate rap song thing, and then you've got like these other ones that sound like this could have been like a crooner hit, you know, in the 50s or something like that. And it's like it's so interesting to listen to. And by the way, just so we can hold it up, Yes by Chris Daly. Say yes to this because this is an amazing recording. If you haven't heard it, you really should. It's available on Spotify, all the streaming platforms, I assume. I don't want to
it is.
that for you, but like, this is a great listen, and it's really cool because it's like a concept EP. I don't know if you meant it that way, but I love that you're drawing from. Yeah, it seems to be sitting there nicely. I think this will kind of work.
Hell yeah.
But you seem to be drawing from this vast array where there's like hip hop elements, but then there's some like crooners 50 elements. I'm like, whoa, this is so fresh.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's like I'm a fan of Ween and Ariel Pink, and I feel like they're very connected in like certain ways. Like Ween has like, you know, like I'm holding something more precious than fine or baby. I'm holding you. Like country ballads. Yeah. And then they have just like really like Radiohead kind of like imitative stuff, and like then they have like Prince imitations and all this stuff. But like the way that they do it is really comedic and like self-aware, and I think that's.
Didn't they do the SpongeBob theme?
They did or
something in
loop
SpongeBob.
Loop and pull, and your shoes are looking good. And they also did Ocean Man, which is the credit song of the SpongeBob movie. But just the like how or Ariel Pink or Stevie Moore, Ween, even like the Beatles' White Album and stuff like that. Like they have Piggies, then they have like Honey Pie, you are making me crazy. You know, all that. Like it's very all over the place, and I kind of wanted to. I'm like a fan of that stuff to where it's like kind of funny. It's not too self-aware, but the songs are well done enough to where it's like you could take it seriously, but it's still funny, and it kind of throws you for a loop. You know, one song is like an indie pop song, and the next one's like a polka trap song. Like I thought that would just be kind of fun, but also at the same time I was kind of like just scrounging for like anything that I could get. Like I kind of consider this now that it's come out as almost like a mixtape or something, like a decently well organized mixtape. What
do you mean by mixtape? Like a sampling of what you can do?
Kind of, yeah. Like a lot of like rappers, like they don't before like they put out like their debut album or whatever. They're like, yeah, check out my mixtape and stuff. And it's kind of like some mixtapes I would consider more albums than mixtapes, like Acid Rap by Chance the Rapper or whatever. But like some are just like a bunch of songs that are a little bit like disparate, and they are just in like a thing, and they're kind of like, yeah, here's my mixtape. Like check out what I can do. It's kind of like a sampler of what they can do.
Like your resume almost.
Almost,
like
yeah.
Resume.
It's a really good way of putting it. And so with this new thing that we're working on, it's definitely. Well, the main difference I think is that with this one, I started almost all the songs on the computer. Like I would just start recording the guitar, record a drum loop or whatever into Logic, and then just keep working on it. We're adding stuff, mixing it, taking stuff away, and doing it all on the computer. And with these new songs, I wrote them all out on the guitar first, did all the wrote all the chord progressions, got like a good structure on the guitar to where I can play it. And just play it with me and a guitar, and it sounds like a song. You know what I mean? And so we're starting off with songs that are written, and now we're translating them to a recorded medium, where these were made in the recording process,
Okay, so you had a better, your fingers in the arrangement of this more so than now. You said you come up with songs, and the arrangement is being constructed based on who's playing on them?
No, it's kind of the opposite. Like this one, it was like, all right, I had like 3 chords, or 4 chords, and then I'd be like, all right, well, let me add a shaker here. Let me add all this stuff here. Let me add like a main vocal, then some harmonies behind it. Now I need a B section. All of this is recorded. We have a full 45-second song. It's a full song. I could put the song out. It's fully produced and everything. But I need a bridge. And then it's like there's nothing there. Then I record, I do it all again in the program, and it's right there. With these, I keep pointing to my guitar.
Yeah, but, you'll get to that soon enough.
Well, no, it's just like I did it pretty much all on the guitar now. It wasn't we didn't record anything for it yet, pretty much. Yeah. And it's like all the songs are written out now, and now it's like the structure's there, the chords are there, the vocal parts are there in my head. And now it's like I need to bring it to the computer as opposed to writing it while recording.
So you were kind of punching parts in the past.
Absolutely, yeah.
And now this is like coming with a fully formed thing.
Yeah, I was kind of just, as I was writing it and recording it, throwing whatever I could at the wall and seeing like what stuck, taking stuff away. It was all overdubs. It was me playing a lot of the stuff on the album, doing the production and the mixing and all that stuff myself. Like it was me and Connor, my drummer, in my house or in my friend's house, recording and doing it all ourselves pretty much, with help from Jason Robbins on bass on some of the tracks, Keenan Asbridge, Jason Robbins from Plasm, and Keenan Asbridge from Nikita. My guitarist Chris working on some of the stuff, Zach doing the electronic drums on Ooter, the chocolate one.
Yeah.
And, so bringing people in where but now it's like, now we have a team assembled. I have these songs written. Now it's like we're going at it with pre-written songs and actually trying to like capture the essence of those songs and figure out a way to produce them. The production was a big part of the songwriting on this. Now it's the production is kind of the next step.
Okay.
And I've never done it like that before. I've only done songs where we're recording and writing at the same time. So
what have you learned about like comparing those two processes? Like, are there certain pitfalls to one or the other, certain strengths to one or the other?
Well, the strength of doing it in the way that I did it on this and the stuff that I did before was that like it's down. You don't have to wait for the song to be written. You're doing it as it comes along, and you hear stuff in your headphones and you're like, well, what would I want to come over here if this were a song that I was just listening? It's like all right in front of you. You're writing it as you're making it. So you're hearing it come to life in full in your headphones with all the parts.
More like directly responsive.
Yeah. It's like you throw something at the song and the song throws something back at you, and you can immediately respond to it, record something new. With this, we haven't really recorded anything yet, but it's like kind of a little bit scarier and a little bit like more pressure because it's like I put so much time into the arrangements and the chord or like the song structure and the chord progressions and like the lyrics and stuff like that, and now it's like, all right, but if these songs are produced like shit, it's gonna suck. You know what I mean? Like,
so it's a little more precious in one way because you put the time in ahead of time.
Yeah,
and it'll be that much harder to overturn.
Yeah,
how you think about it.
Yes, yeah, and to know like aesthetically what to do with the song. Like for one of them, we're not sure if we should do like electronic drums for the verses and then like full band for the chorus and stuff, or if it should all just be live instrumentation or what, So it's the aesthetic choices are like pre-decided in this way of recording while you're writing the songs before you record it. At least for me, the aesthetics aren't there yet. I'm sure that if I sat with the songs for like hours and hours and sat there and really thought of like, how do I want this guitar to sound? But I'm just going to wait until we're in the studio, like doing it to really think about all that stuff.
Yeah, and I guess you can always do a mix of both. Something that I love is Paul Simon's Graceland, because he did electronic ghosts of all like the natural instruments.
Okay.
To where I guess it was early on when electronics were coming out and being available in pop music, but there was natural instruments being ghosted by electronic ones, and I thought that's really cool.
What do you mean ghosted? Like there's like another layer like behind it or something?
Yeah.
Like okay.
Yeah, like there's an electronic ghost to the natural instrument melody.
That's
and
pretty cool.
People do that where they'll have natural drums, but then an electronic drum doing the same pattern with, you can mix which one you want to be more prominent, but they're still kind of both there,
Yeah. And I think that we're going to have to do some stuff like that.
Which is awesome because that drives the music into a more interesting territory. It's not what's been done before.
Yeah. If we do it well, then like I hope, you know what I mean? Like we gotta really spend the time and make sure that we do it well. But yeah, I think that it does have the potential to make some interesting music. And I'm talking about all this right now, and we're very much in the beginning stages of producing the album. So I hope that doesn't just suck by the end of it. You know what I mean?
I don't think it will, man. You're a natural, talent for songwriting and performance and singing and all that stuff. So I mean, your instincts are always really good. I've always admired you in your abilities beyond just your technical abilities to execute, but your performance abilities. It's one of the things that drew me to you the most, seeing you at open mics playing and like getting into the performance aspect of walking around and like treating the stage like a playground. I'm like, oh, I love it. You get it. You understand it. I mean, because I dig it in that way too, so it was like a instant acknowledgement from me that like, oh, this is someone to pay attention to. And
thank you.
You've never disappointed me. I'll say that.
Hell yeah. Thank you very much.
And I really like your approach to everything. So I'm sure it'll be great. And we were talking earlier about like, songs that are good songs can transcend different arrangements.
Yeah.
Are you finding that with like the new way of writing where you're coming up with the songs ahead of time as opposed to composing them based on that feedback loop you're getting from the computer, like that there's something different about constructing a song that's good to start with and then you can do whatever to it?
I think like in a way where if I needed to perform them at like a bar where we didn't need a kit, they're interesting enough to where I can have somebody just play cajon to it and like a shaker or something, and you're still gonna get like the full feeling of a song. Because I've put that effort into like the detail of the what I'm doing on the guitar. But when I'm like playing them and when we're rehearsing them as a band, we're thinking about like what is like the one true way right now that we're trying to like arrange it and do it. So right now we're trying to settle on like one way to do it, one like aesthetic, which we're in the very beginning stages of. But after we bring them out and we play them and stuff like that, I'm sure that we could do them in a bunch of different band configurations and stuff like that, or play them in different feels and stuff like that. But right now we're all kind of just trying to soak them in and like make them part of like our DNA right now, so that we can actually make a good record and like
feel the song.
Yeah. Like we're not quite there yet. I mean, to some degree we are, but like, I think like when you can do that and rearrange a song and play it in like a different like with like a different aesthetic or like a different approach or a different feel, you need to really have like a deep understanding of the song to like have your own musical
to be able
mind.
To fuck with it.
To be able to fuck with it. Yeah, to fuck with the vision. Exactly. Hell yeah.
Gotta learn the rules before you can break them.
Yeah, dude. That was a perfect like fucking callback right there. Yeah, dude. Exactly. Like,
but a lot of bands do that. You listen to like Rolling Stones or Talking Heads or the Grateful Dead or whatever, these bands that like if you listen to their song on the record and then you hear a live version of it that's 10, 15, 20 years later, it's like they're always messing with it. Like I think songs they should be like a living organism. I respect bands that can like reproduce exactly what you heard on the record night after night after night, and that's cool. It takes a certain discipline, but like then why wouldn't I just listen to the album loud at home for free?
Yeah, I know. I think that too. I think that with like a lot of like hip hop concerts too, where like people rap over the backing track. I guess you're there to like get fucked up and party and like have fun and vibe with people and be, you know what I mean? And the performer's more of just kind of like a
hype man.
An MC. They're like a master of ceremonies. They're there to kind of like direct the party and like fucking get people hyped and stuff.
Well, a lot of times they're rapping to their own like backing track.
Yeah, exactly.
Singing
exactly.
Rap. So it's like they could stop and the thing still goes.
Yeah. They're more there to just kind of be like the conductor of the vibes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, good. Yeah, they're kind of like their own hype man in a way. They're like a hype man for the crowd, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been listening to like more jazz and stuff lately and just like a lot of live performance videos on YouTube and stuff. And I love just different interpretations of the songs, different little jam sections in live performances to where it's like they're not playing it the same every single time. You know that it's recognizable, but then they kind of veer off and then they come back. And that's what's great about the Grateful Dead is they can just completely veer off, go somewhere else, get lost there, then they somehow find a way to take it all the way back.
Yeah.
And
on acid.
Yeah.
I don't know how the hell they did that other than just doing it for so long.
But. Yeah. Acid or the songs?
Both.
Yeah, it's just like
combined. Like how do you navigate those waters and still come back to some semblance of, oh, this is the theme that everyone knows.
Yeah, just that tight of like a fucking band, and that's what I think is so cool. Is like I eventually want to get to that point with my band to where we're so tight and we know each other's musical like proclivities and tendencies so well that we can kind of just really speak to each other through the instruments and through the parts and veer off to different territories and bring it back. Because I think that that's like a mark of like a really good band.
I agree.
Or a really good live performances or live performing band, to where you can kind of veer off, but you're still there. There's still a consistent, strong foundation to the song, you know.
Well, there's a live aspect of it that returns to the theme.
Yeah.
So it's getting back to that theme. So like, when is this potential new project going to be like coming to fruition? Is this still like such baby stages that we don't know yet, or do you guys have any kind of?
Yeah, I have no idea. We're really just like building like a foundation for like working. You know, like Zach's coming over. We're rehearsing the songs ourselves. He's coming over. He's helping us finish them. We're figuring out like the sequencing, how we want the songs to flow into one another. But we haven't actually put like, we don't have like the foundation for the recordings yet. You know what I mean? So this is just something that I'm really excited about.
Yeah, well, that's great, man. Good to have new things to look forward to. And like, you know, I mean, this is an excellent EP. I don't. What do you call it? An EP?
I think it's an EP. But like, if I like to kind of be like, it's like a mixtape kind of.
Yeah.
Because it's so all over the place and so weird, you know.
So this is where people can go for now, but in the future, there's some new stuff coming.
Yeah, I think this is like a good starting point for myself. But yeah, I want to just make some stuff that's a little bit more coherent and, yeah.
Any like performances coming up? I know it's very weird right now with things were starting to look okay, then now spiking and things are getting locked down again. Do you have any things on the books or any idea about that, or are you just strictly into the writing recording mode?
I'm pretty much strictly into the writing recording mode, and my bandmates agree with me. They're like, well, Chris, my guitarist, he's kind of like, if somebody asks us to do something, then I'm down to do it, and I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm down to do it. My drummer Connor, he's going to school for music, and he's kind of like, dude, I have school stuff to do. We're doing the record. We're doing this. We're doing that. Like we should just kind of stick to this. And I kind of agree, you know? Mm-hmm. But if somebody asked us to do something, then I would do it. But no, there's nothing planned right now. All of our shows got canceled.
Yeah,
which sucks
everyone,
because,
man,
like.
What about like a internet version? Like, would you ever do like a live stream or do a video of the band playing some of these tunes and put them out? Or do you want the record out first?
Well, no, I would do that, but we would kind of have to plan it first. I wouldn't want to just like throw it together and be like, all right, yeah, let's just throw a phone up and do it. Which, yeah, I would kind of want to be like, all right, what's the set? What's, you know, because I'd want to present the songs in a good way. We haven't played for so long. I would want people's first impression of us, you know, playing for them in such a long time to be like a very good impression.
Yeah, no, you're dead right with that, man. Well, cool, man. I mean, that's awesome that there's a lot of new stuff in the works. There's new energy coming out. I can feel you're very excited about it.
I am, dude.
That's a lot to look forward to. I mean, I love this mixtape, I'll call it.
Hell yeah.
And I'm so glad you came on here. And
do you mind if I do one more thing?
Dude, absolutely.
I just want to show the my friends did really
if you want to show some things inside of there. He's opening it up here.
Yeah, there we go. It comes in a nice wrapper.
Yeah, as all things should. Keeps it protected. No water damage is going to get to it.
Absolutely.
In transit, wherever it's being transmitted to, moved to, whatever.
And we got, I don't know how well you can see that, but the cover is taken by Kat Manning, who has a studio out in New Milford called Hello Studio. That right there was done by our friend Sasha Allen. And the CD art was also done by Sasha Allen right there. It's kind of like a Simpsons-y kind of, I don't know if you can see it too well, but like those clouds right there on the disc. And then we have here, then we have the collage done by my friend Caroline Tanner, who has an Instagram, CL Tanner Designs. Kat is at Hello Studio CT, I believe. And Sasha Allen is at Sharpie People on Instagram. So they're all really good at what they do, and I'm really grateful that they helped me out with all of this, and I think it came out great. So, but yeah, thank you to them, and thank you to Keenan and Jason and everybody who helped out on the project. Check it out if you haven't. It's like 15 minutes. You could do that. What else would you be doing? Pornhub?
And if you're gonna do that, put this on in the background.
Yeah, put it on in the background. Yeah,
it's only gonna brighten your day.
I'm like the Marvin Gaye for really lonely people.
It's an excellent listen. Check it out. But Chris, thank you so much for coming on. Now we're gonna get some tunes from you here.
Yes, absolutely. Sure.
Well, thanks everybody for listening. Thanks for tuning in. And we love y'all. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Yee.